Right.
What's up, ladies and gents? This is Shoe Booty Sports. Another episode coming at you Tuesday night, episode 171, I believe. I'm Graham Powell on this screen. That's Bradley Brown on the other. Say what's up, Brad.
How's it going? 171, huh?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's right. I only remember just because seeing 170 when I look back at the other one. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I believe this is episode 171. Anyway, before we get going, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Shoe Booty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the one of a kind Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice, screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section while you're there for t shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. And you can find us, Shoe Booty Sports, on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X at Shoe Booty Sports. I like as soon as I hit record, basically my phone decides to start blowing up. Is what it is. Awesome timing all around. Story of my life these days. But anyway, coming off a pretty boring Super Bowl. That was
Yeah.
last week's episode. Nothing but Super Bowl talk, and understandably so. Complete blowout win for the Eagles. We are in off-season mode and pulling up ESPN.com or not ESPN.com, but the ESPN app. The first thing on the it's well one there's hockey. It's USA Canada hockey talk. Which did they play?
Yeah, they played.
Yeah, and then the US beat the piss out of them, right? Or
Yeah.
beat them.
Oh, they beat them handedly. I think it was 5-1. I think Canada scored the first goal, and it was just all Team USA from there on out. But yeah, I think they started off the game. They dropped the puck, and yeah, a fight broke out. So it started off on a good foot.
I heard like
Um,
3 fights started within the first 9 seconds.
yeah, pretty sweet.
Yeah, well, yeah. When I know the Canadians are booing the U.S. national anthem,
Yeah, I
and
did read that.
yeah, and the United States responded with uh, 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of action, something along those lines. So USA, shout out to our boys there. For one, winning the game and probably winning the fights too.
Yeah,
But
they
winning the game,
definitely won the They definitely won the one I seen. So
well, they
yeah, I got
won the
slammed
game.
down to the ice.
They
Yeah.
won the game. That's what really matters, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Speaking of ice, how is it there as for where you're at as far as amount of snow and ice that you're receiving? It's
Uh it's pretty much been trying to snow all day. Like it was trying to you'd see a snowflake here and there this morning at like 6:30, and then it finally started to pick up about 10 o'clock here. And as far as I know, it's still coming down out there. So I think if I had to guess, it's 6 inches, probably 5 or 6 inches.
okay, snow or ice.
Snow. We didn't get a whole lot of ice.
Okay. We're getting ice. There's not much snow on the ground. It
Yeah.
sounds like we're getting 2 to 3 inches of ice, something along those lines, which I'm not excited about. Ice is not fun.
No, we got a couple inches of ice, but mainly switched to snow.
Yeah, we don't have that, just ice. So hopefully the power stays on. That's my main concern. My AC condenser is already frozen, but I figured that would happen. But I have an emergency heat setting that I've already turned on, so the it's just basically pumping heat right now. It's costly. It's gonna make my electric bill higher, but uh,
Yeah,
I'm all for staying warm. I'll pay the extra whatever, 30
it'll be worth it.
dollars, whatever it is. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so hockey going on. The U.S. Beats Canada. Uh, Big news as far as football goes. Uh, the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. That's going to end. This isn't news.
Yeah, it's over. No.
What did you think of how much of Rodgers on Pat McAfee's show did you see as far as what the Jets were asking of him to if they were going to bring him back?
I just seen where they asked like that he'd make no more appearances in season on the Pat McAfee show. That was the only thing I've seen on it. I've seen him on there uh plenty of times on my lunch break whenever I come back home for lunch. So usually that's about the time Rogers comes on TV is anywhere from 11:30 to 12:30. So I've caught him on there a couple of times. It's usually, okay TV, but
Well, I just see clips. I'm at work whenever it happens. But the other thing was they wanted him to start coming to the OTAs, the workouts during the preseason, all that, or prior to training camp was something that vets don't typically do, especially one that's been in the league for 20 years. But the Jets want him to do that. My thing is, who are the Jets to have these type of demands? I know that your team didn't have success, but look at Aaron, and obviously Rodgers didn't do anything year one. That wasn't his fault.
yeah,
But I mean, you look at Rodgers' numbers again. Team didn't have success. His numbers were Aaron Rodgers like numbers,
yeah,
minus the team success. I mean, the statistics were still pretty good, and
uh-huh,
so I mean, he hasn't lost a step to me, or at least not much. Um, but he's not prime Aaron Rodgers. Let me take that back or step back up a little bit there, but still, a not prime Aaron Rodgers is still better than most, and his numbers were still pretty good if you go back and look at them again. People, yeah, the wins losses weren't there, but
yeah.
still pretty good as far as statistically. And what's your better option right now if you're the Jets? Are you just saving money?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know what their best option is. Um,
Yeah,
who
I
knows
don't.
who that's going to be? I've been hearing like old cousins going up there, which yeah, I don't see that going any better than the Aaron Rodgers experience.
I would
So
hate that for Kirk Cousins.
yeah,
Um, now I wouldn't like that for him. Now, I mean, it's obviously not working out in Atlanta for whatever reason. I mean, he started off playing pretty well, and then something happened, and it just I don't know if it was injuries or what, and then it just went downhill
yeah,
quickly. And then it was just okay. Let's hand it over to the guy we picked eighth overall or whatever, Michael Penix Jr. The big talk or the other thing, Steelers have reportedly uh, inquired about trading for Aaron Rodgers. That would and I had talked on this show about where I thought Rodgers would be a good fit. I said San Francisco. I said Minnesota. Minnesota is the more likely of those scenarios, but in Pittsburgh, where you're really just a quarterback away, that would be pretty good. But what are you going to have to give up to get him? I mean, are the Jets going to play hardball or
are they
I mean,
really a
heck,
quarterback away? I mean, seen I've seen Russell Wilson running for his life plenty of times this season. So
yeah, um, it was a pretty good team there the first start of the season, at least win loss wise.
yeah,
And yeah, you could probably use some help on the offensive line. I didn't follow the Steelers that closely. I just saw I saw them in some games and their win loss total. But you got George Pickens, you got a really good defense. TJ Watt anchoring that defense. You got a pretty solid number one, George Pickens, like I said. Yeah, you need to revamp the offensive line from the sound of it. Um, but I don't know. I like the fit if it can somehow happen. I don't know how it happens. Uh,
I think Wilson's a better fit than Rodgers there in Pittsburgh.
I don't. I would rather have Aaron Rodgers than Russell Wilson on in any situation. That doesn't matter to me. Neither one is in the prime of their careers. You're not getting prime Russell Wilson, the guy that won the Super Bowl in Seattle. I mean, he was in Denver. He looked like a wash.
Yeah.
Rodgers was just on a bad team. Statistically, his numbers were still good this season. I'm going Aaron Rodgers in any situation over Russell Wilson. That doesn't matter to the team. I like the fit if it can happen. I just don't know how it happens. I think the most likely scenario is Minnesota, and I love that. Playing indoors, not that it necessarily matters for Aaron Rodgers, but it seems like a really good fit and all something that all sides might agree on as far as hey, this will work out. It's kind of perfect timing and everything.
I'm still hearing talks about him going to maybe San Francisco. So, which I still think is wild. I mean, it would be good for Rodgers. I mean, be his childhood dream, but I don't know. I don't know where he's going to go. I don't know how they're going to make it work. I kind of just think he should hang it up, but that's just me.
Uh, why do you think that though? Because he showed, especially in the last game, he can still play. He can still absolutely play. Is he still one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the world?
Probably.
There's no probably. Absolutely. You'd rather have Geno Smith over Aaron Rodgers?
No, I mean, but you're going to, anything you do with Aaron Rodgers is going to be what, for a season? You think how many seasons does he have left? You think he's got three?
No, I think he could play 2 more years. I think he would. I think if I got a commitment from him, I don't even necessarily need two. Like it just, but I would go into it saying, "Can you give me 2 years?" And that would be, if so, we'll go all in for these 2 years. That would be how I would handle it if I were the GM of a football team needing a quarterback. Needing a quarterback. That's how I would do it. As in, Am I fit to win now? And I just need a quarterback. I need somebody that's going to get us over the hump. It worked for Tampa Bay and Brady. Not saying that's going to happen with Rodgers, but it could. It could in the right situation.
We could, yeah,
I
but I don't
see.
see it happening.
Yeah, I said I have more faith and see more in Aaron Rodgers than you do, obviously. Um, but
Yeah.
that's what I think of it. Okay, let's talk some hoops now. NBA All Star Weekend was this past weekend in San Francisco. Yeah, Golden State territory, and I did not see the All Star game. I actually completely forgot about the All Star game.
Did you watch any All-Star coverage at all?
I watched the very end of the 3 point contest and the slam. I watched the entire slam dunk contest. Basically, I watched the Mac McClung show.
Yeah, as we say, you watched way more than I did. I didn't watch any of it at all except for some highlights. So
Well, I was in
I was like
Texarkana.
you. I kind of forgot that it was even going on.
Yeah, I was in Texarkana. I had a half marathon that Sunday, and I slept basically whenever I got home from work. I slept. I went to bed at 6:30 p.m. Told myself I was going to get up at 10:30 and p.m. and shower and pack and all that to leave town, and then go back to bed around 2, and get up at whatever 7 o'clock, get ready to go. That didn't happen. I My alarm went off at 10:30, and I stayed in bed and I slept till about 9 a.m. the following day. So I slept a really long time Friday. So I didn't watch any of the rookie stuff, rookie teams, and so I never do though. Even when I'm into it, I never watch the Friday night stuff. I got into Texarkana, went and got food, and they had the 3-point contest on while I was eating at Fuzzy's there in Texarkana, and I got back to the room and they had the final round of the 3-point contest, and then I watched the whole dunk contest. Mac McClung was the only one that was worth watching. He put on a show for the third year in a row.
Yeah, 3 straight years.
He easily was the winner of this one too, and has been all 3 years. But he is single handedly, they're saying saving the dunk contest, but I mean just keeping the thing alive. I
Yeah.
mean it's been boring at times. The last year was terrible. Outside of Mac McClung, it was awful. It was just a bunch of people trying things and missing, and that was kind of the case this year too. Uh,
What was his big dunk this year? The Blake Griffin copy dunk where he dunks over Kia?
well, did Blake Griffin though do like a grab it from a guy and then do a reverse dunk as well, jumping over the Kia? I don't think he did that. Blake Griffin was fun to watch. He was a heck of a dunker, but no, that was what he led off with. Matt McClung. He led off with that dunk, and then
Why do I never see this guy in the regular season highlights?
he's in the G League.
Okay. That's,
That's why he's in the G League.
they
Uh,
bring him up just for the All-Star break. It's like
yeah,
thanks for limping us along one more year. Go back to the G
he's
League.
it's worked out for. He's made more money in the dunk contest
Oh,
than he's had in his playing
how
career.
much you get for the dunk contest? At least 100 grand, right?
Well, for winning, I want to say in the last 3 years, he's made like 330K just from the dunk contest. And in the G League, his career earnings are like 120 something thousand, something like along those lines, I believe. I saw a statistic that was
So you
in
bet your
that
ass he's
ballpark.
bringing it. The dunk contest.
Yeah.
He is bringing the heat.
Well, he said at the end of this one, he said, "I don't know, this is probably my last one, but I don't know if they want me back bad enough. I guess I'll listen." And
Apparently, John Morant might be in it next year. How insane would that be? I don't think it's ever going to happen. It's going to be like the LeBron entry into the dunk contest, non-existent. We're still waiting on that promise.
well, that's not going to happen. LeBron just completely backed out of saying that. Um, in the moment, yeah, I guess it's he got excited and said, "I'm going to be in the dunk contest." And then the more he thought about it, he was like, "I don't think I want to do that. I don't
Well,
have to do that."
he
Uh,
didn't think he didn't want to do it. It was his agents and everybody else. They're like, no, he ain't doing that.
yeah. Either way, he said he would do it. I thought he should have done it because he said he would, but at the same time, it's what it is. He's done okay for himself.
Yeah,
But yes,
I guess.
okay, second dunk, Mac McClung, like, so they had a ball and he went up and like dunked one and then the other. And then the third one, he jumped over a guy who was not quite Wimby tall, but a 7 footer maybe. And I don't even know who it was. And then he grabs the ball from the guy's holding. He grabs the ball, taps the rim with it, and then dunks it. It all looked better in slow motion. I thought the first dunk was the best dunk, but they all looked awesome in slow motion. And really, the guy who challenged him in the final, Spurs player, I can't even remember his name. He had his last two dunks were pretty good, just nothing amazing and crowd popping necessarily. But like from the looks of it, it was very good dunks, just nothing that blew the roof off the building. And that's to be in the dunk contest and make an impact. I mean, you got to be a crowd pleaser as well. Mac McClung was the only one in the building that was that, and
Yeah. And that crowd was
that's
already having a rough night, having it, especially after having to watch Wimby and Kyrie do their skills challenge, where they just kind of half-assed it. Did you see that highlight?
did
Where
not.
it was a timed team challenge. So they both had turns running through this obstacle course, and they pretty much had to make like two chest passes, like dribble and then go and shoot like five three-pointers from one spot and then five free throws or whatever. Well, anyways, whenever they got to the shots, they literally just pretty much shift like moved them from the left hand to the right hand, just chunked them like and was just chunking them like 10 feet, just getting through it like as quickly as possible, and then cross the finish line. Everybody's booing them. You didn't see that?
Nope.
Yeah, I thought it was a joke, and I was like, oh, this was actually on live TV. Yeah, that's bad. So they got disqualified.
All right. Well, speaking of Kyrie, I saw that this is a very Kyrie thing, by the way. I saw he wants to play for the Australian national team in the LA Olympics in 2028.
Okay.
What is his ties to what are his ties to Australia?
He wants to make it a point to Embiid. I don't know. I don't how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Kyrie
But
is an interesting cat.
Embiid's country didn't have enough people to even fill the team, so Kyrie doesn't have that excuse. In Australia.
They have
I
really
don't
good
know, dude.
swimmers.
He heard about their breakdancing team, decided he had to sign up.
Yeah, well, outside of their swim team, which is amazing, by the way. Uh, yeah, Ray Gun was the only thing
Yeah.
talked about coming out of Australia, uh, which she has really been so apologetic since then. I think she should. I get it, but at the same time, I think you should own it. I mean, just like
Hey,
capitalize on this.
she pretty much rigged the games to where it was only her going for her country. I mean, it's a great plan. It worked. So she got her 15 minutes, well, more than 15 minutes of fame on that one.
Now, I'm admittedly not a breakdancing fan, as in like a someone that follows the sport, if we're calling it that.
Who
Uh,
is?
well, there are people. Of course, these
Let's see.
are
I'm
online.
sure there's tens and tens of people across the world that follow breakdancing.
Yeah, but it's all the stuff you see online that act like she's just an embarrassment to the sport. I'm thinking she's the only reason I'm even paying attention as far as the casual person. Now, if somebody's breakdancing out in public on a sidewalk like they used to do, I'll stop and watch if it's good, like any
Yeah.
common person would. I'm not hating on it or saying it isn't impressive or amazing some of the stuff that they can do, but it's not something I'm following or paying attention to regularly. But I did watch her stuff just because it was entertaining to me, just as far as amusement goes.
Yeah, just not in the entertainment or entertaining way that it was meant to be.
Yes, not in the what were the breakdancing movies that were real big 15 years ago? You got
They
served,
were breakdancing movies. Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
really.
Those are
Uh
they break danced in those?
yes, that was the whole thing. It was just like breakdancing, like battling. That was the whole thing. I'm looking this up real quick. I know there were more than this. Okay. Breakdance
Uh,
movies.
Instead of dancing while battling, they were battling while dancing.
Okay, you got served as the big one. Stomp the Yard, I think, is one that I remember like my sister watching growing up.
All great, all sound like great American classics.
Honey with Jessica Alba is on that list. Step Up.
Okay.
Okay, do you remember Save the Last Dance
Man, it sounds familiar. I couldn't tell you what it's about. Probably
with the
saving the
chick
last dance.
from 10 Things I Hate About You? What was her name? Uh, Julia. Was it Julia Stiles? Yes, Julia Stiles. Way back. I mean, we were in high school when this came out. This was like year 2000. I don't even know if that was breakdancing though. All right, we're talking about some interesting stuff on this show. Post Super Bowl, we're kind of between the NBA All Star break and which we obviously didn't get a lot of or
No.
see too much of, and no Super Bowl. We've just got ice storms, and yeah, that's about it. So we're
Oh,
resorting to
yeah.
breakdowns.
So going back to the All-Star game, did I heard they changed up the format to like a tournament type? What's the deal with that?
Well, I know
They're
that
not
they
doing it again,
played
right?
what?
They're not doing it again, right? It was very poorly received.
Oh, I don't. It's been poorly received the last few
10
years
years.
at least, and not that long. But the last few years, it's been not good. It's
Yeah.
been kind of the Pro Bowl 2.0. Not as bad as the Pro Bowl, but still, it's getting to that point. Now they picked teams. It was Charles Barkley and Shaq maybe the no, I think it was Chuck and Kenny. Like Charles Barkley on had one team he picked. Kenny had another team that he picked. The inside the NBA crew. Shaq and Candace Parker maybe had their teams Friday night. The younger players. I could be wrong. Again, I didn't see either one of those nights, but they didn't have a timed. They had two games. That's what it was. They had two games, and they only played to like they didn't keep time. They just played to a certain score, and it was
Like
in
the
the
three
fourth.
on three games, they just played at 25, no
No, they
time.
played to 40 something. I want to say, uh, but again, didn't see it, so I don't know. I can't even tell. I heard it on the radio on the way to work this morning. That's the only way reason I know that much. But the big thing was Charles Barkley talking or telling Draymond Green on camera as they're talking that uh, Charles telling Draymond, "Your generation ruined basketball."
Yeah. Yeah. That was amazing TV.
Yes, I still haven't seen the clip, but I can only imagine it, and I'm sure it's enjoyable. Is it as good as I'm picturing it in my head?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I figured. I did see Oscar Robinson make a comment regarding Draymond Green. Uh, Gosh, I got to pull that up. That was pretty entertaining. While I'm looking that up, tell us what's going on in the golf world, Brad. I see that Tiger and his league club, whatever, is playing the New York Golf Club today. How is this working? And just give us some info on it.
Uh, I didn't know their TV schedule was tonight. They've been switching it up like the past couple of weeks. This is what the fourth, maybe fifth week it's been going on. It seems to
It
be getting
says
better every
here,
week.
just a sec. It says here, Tiger and Jupiter Links Golf Club take on New York Golf Club. So that's what's going on. I think right now.
Cool. Yeah,
No, is it?
yeah. I mean, it's the perfect thing to be going on whenever there's nothing else going on. Like that's the reason why people are watching it. It's not the most entertaining TV, but it is a little entertaining when nothing else is. But yeah, it's getting better. They're fine tuning the product. It'll be over here in a couple of weeks. The Genesis Invitational, it was, I think it's this week. It might have been last week. I think it was last week because Tiger, yeah, he announced he was going to play and then he withdrew at the last minute. Um, yeah, PGA is back in full swing. It is. There's some promising talks going on right now to get the live players earning World Cup points or FedEx points. So I don't know. There's good talk. So we're getting closer to back to having everybody playing everybody again. So fingers crossed here within the next year it happens.
All right. Going back to basketball, what Oscar? I saw it today and I liked it just because it was funny and I a good point by Oscar Robertson, who is more than qualified to make comments about such things regarding basketball. He said because Draymond had called today's NBA boring, which I do agree with. I wholeheartedly agree with Draymond on that. But Oscar Robertson responded with, "Who cares what Draymond says? It might be boring to him because if he's not passing the ball to Curry, what is he doing?"
Yeah. Okay.
He's doing a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet. For one, I will defend Draymond a little bit there, but that doesn't make what Oscar Robertson said
It's,
uh, any less entertaining. And it's still a good point by him as well. So, but that's not Draymond's game offense. Uh, but still found it very entertaining. But while I was searching for that, I saw at the top of it might have been no, it was I was still on the ESPN app. Uh, Somebody, I think a reporter asked Giannis what he thought about a for future All Star games, or at least the next one, a Team USA versus the world format, as
we
in the
already do that.
best, as well as in the best players, the best foreign players versus the best players from the United States. I get it. We've
Yeah.
talked about that on the show. Here's the thing, though: the foreign players would win.
Yeah.
Team USA versus the world's best. The foreign players would dominate. I don't know that it would be that close. I would
I
have the
think
foreign players by 30.
I ain't saying by 30. I mean,
Who's Team USA gonna have? That's gonna do something in an All
oh,
Star
no,
game. Ant,
nobody. They ain't by 30 though. That's a lot of buckets.
um, Anthony Edwards will. I mean, he'd be the star player for Team USA in an All Star format again, because LeBron and KD and Steph aren't putting up. They're not putting up Olympic effort in an All Star game. They just aren't, and I wouldn't either. Why would they?
No, nobody's putting in 100% effort in the All-Star game. Nobody's putting in 80% effort except for the guy who freaking wins the slam dunk competition because it's like hitting the lotto for him every season. Like he's
But
the only one that's getting given 110%.
pride would be on the line though if you have that kind of format. Like Anthony Edwards, I feel like would lead a charge of yeah, let's go win this game and let's dominate. They wouldn't. I just think Anthony Edwards would be that guy. LeBron and them would not. Again, why would they
No,
at 40? LeBron would be 41 at this point. No, I wouldn't do that either. So,
no.
but yeah, I would be interested in it. They're trying, like they are trying to figure something out because the rankings are continuing to go, or rankings, the ratings are continuing to go down. Regular season games, it well all around.
Yeah, they're talking about, because there were talks, a couple of seasons ago, or for the past couple of seasons, about, them shortening up the schedule, cutting off, 8 to 10 games to help ease the load up on the players or whatnot, whatever. And
Cut
now
down
they're
on
floating
load
out,
management.
yeah,
It's one
and
of their
now they're floating out this idea of, hey, let's make the quarters 2 minutes shorter.
I've heard
It's
that
like,
too.
it's like, okay, I mean, I think that'll be the end of records being broken. Um,
Well, of
Whenever they
course.
do that, of course. But uh, yeah, somebody made the point last week that oh yeah, you're not going to go for cutting the 8 to 10 games, but maybe you'll go for this cutting 2 minutes off per quarter. Well, you do that math over the entire season, it pretty much works out to 8 less games over the course of the season. Um, I do you see that happening? I really don't, but just for the sake of the records, I don't see it happening. I would
I
much
don't
rather
think they
have less
care about
games.
records. I don't think they care
Well,
about the records. They care about ratings.
I mean, I know they're not going to cut games because that cuts out a lot of money, but I mean, cutting games is the only way to make them mean more. I mean, have
Yes,
less games, there's going to be more weight on them.
correct. And shortening the game, you get more intensity during that time. I think for the viewer, the product, yeah, I think trimming the season to 60 something games rather than 82 would be a good idea, and even making it 10-minute course. Yeah, I agree with that. Uh, I don't know that's going to happen. If
It
the
won't.
ratings continue to just hang, then they'll have to do something. They're gonna. I just like that the solution was, and I was a fan of it, but I don't think it'll last. The in season tournament and then changing the colors of the courts, like that's the solution. It's like long
Dude,
term.
that one
That's not
court that made it look like your TV was busted, like it made it look like the color was off. Like what the heck?
I kind of like the wild berry pop tart one, but even then it's weird. At a certain point,
Yeah,
it hurts my eyes. It's like, okay, I just kind of want to watch it. If I want to watch cartoons, I'll watch cartoons. Um,
yeah. Go watch Space Jam. You want to see a bright colored basketball court.
that court wasn't that as bright as these in-season tournament ones, but I get your point nonetheless. Um, but yeah, they'll have to do something. I just don't know what. Um, Major League Baseball has figured it out. I mean, their ratings have gone up. They tweaked
Yep.
the rules. They sped the game up. And I mean, it's worked out for Major League Baseball. Um, Speaking of baseball, college baseball is starting to get underway. I don't know when Arkansas plays. I did see defending national champions Tennessee won 29-4 against UNC Asheville. So there's that.
Arkansas started off a cold series last week against Washington State. They're 4 games into the season already. I think they're undefeated. So
Like the season's like underway. It's legit. It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
they've played
college
4 games already.
Yeah, we're nearing March and we're in college baseball. So yeah, I should have figured that. Because college starts a little after high school, and we started high school basically as soon as spring semester started. So
Yeah,
yeah, okay, makes sense. Um, been a long time since I played baseball, so yeah, or even been a reporter at this point. So okay, well, we've got college baseball underway. We'll see how that goes. The SEC will be strong, I'm sure. But anything to add before we get out of here, Brad? I thought this was a pretty decent episode for having nothing to talk about. It felt like coming into it.
apparently the wind chill up here is going to be like -15 here, like in a day or two. So it's going to be great. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's possibly going to be 8 degrees Thursday. It would be a record low here in central Arkansas. So super excited about that. Emergency heat will remain on until then. But until then, yeah, I'm or between now and then, I'm going to shower and get
I
ready
hope
to
so.
call it a night. Yes, I need to. We'll be back next week to talk about whatever else is going on in the sports world. We'll see. We'll see what we have going next week. But until then, I'm Grandpa.
Brother Brown.
See you next time. Deuces, y'all.
Peace.